Planetside 3. What the fuck are you guys talking about that for? It strikes me as odd that I keep seeing content creators bring up Planetside 3, and it's been for the past couple months. People keep bringing this up. We had, Sirius brought it up in his video, basically his massive sucking off party that he did of Rel in his Planetside 2 10 years as a success video. There's some talk about Planetside 3 in there. I think Zealous has made mention of some Planetside 3 stuff. And to be fair, Zealous released an actually pretty based video. I don't know if it was a week ago or a few days ago now, but he basically shit on the game the entire time he was talking about it. About 16 minutes of him shitting on the game. Pretty different experience. Good job. Congrats to you. And then this morning, I see a video from Cammy talking about how, the financial viability, the brass tacks, the real down-to-earth stuff about, is that a game that's even going to happen? And I think he laid out a pretty good reason why. There's no real financial incentive or anything to make that game. So when you have no financial incentive to make that game, there's no reason to make the game. But what I want to focus on is the spiritual incentive to make the game. Okay, there is no, I think a lot of the Planetside 3 talk you're hearing about is of course wishful thinking, and casuals are inherently really fucking selfish. And, one of the biggest things they complain about is, a Planetside 3, we could get better graphics, because that's all they care about is graphics, right? We could get better graphics, but at the cost of what, What, my question to these guys, for the last few years anyway, has always been, what in the fuck makes you think that this community, this lead game designer, this publisher, what the hell makes you think that any of these things deserve a third game? And that's beyond just talking about the financials of it, and if the financials make sense, or if it's just a waste of money and a catastrophe like Planetside Arena turned out to be. Why does this game, why does this franchise, why does this series deserve another title? And why now? People will say that, oh, well, it hit the nice round 10-year number. But at the same time, if you're not a boneheaded moron casual, you have to look at what's happened in the last 10 years. And all I can say is, if they announced a Planetside 3, I don't exactly even know how I would feel. Because I can tell you, at this moment right now, there is absolutely no chance that I would buy or play that game. They've really burned that bridge, and I think this is the case for a lot of players. They've really burned a bridge with Planetside 2, and especially in the last few years. A lot of people hung around and stuck around through 2014, 2015, and trust me, there were a lot of people who were mad about balance changes and game design decisions then, too. But then we lost all the original guys to churn, and we got kind of like the maintenance caretakers. And the maintenance caretakers have done a really piss poor job of keeping the franchise alive, which I think is fair to say, because I was thinking earlier, it's like, your job as a game dev is to continually make your game better, and to attract more and more players to log in and play, no matter how small over time. But objectively, that has not happened. We've had update after update that continues to make everybody if it doesn't piss off one side, it pisses off the other side. That's a normal thing, but objectively, the game is worse to play now than it was 7 or 8 years ago. And that's just a fact. And if you don't agree with that, you're probably an ignorant casual. Like, you're probably someone who doesn't have barely any time in the game or doesn't understand anything about the game. Like, I saw a Reddit post the other day about, I've got 100 hours in the game and I'm having the time of my life. That's great. I'm all for that. Congratulations. But it doesn't mean you know anything about the game. You're in the honeymoon phase, okay? And the honeymoon phase runs out. There's a reason there's so many of these people that have thousands of hours in the game who are jaded and bitten by the experience, okay? The honeymoon phase runs out. So if you just want to be lazy and capture the honeymoon phase experience and focus your game solely and entirely around attracting someone who will play the game for 10 to 100 hours, then that game, if that's the gist of your new game or any game, that game's going to be dead within a year, okay? Another thing, if I was talking about if I would play the game or not, if it came out. If Rel is in any way involved with this game or with a new game, then the answer is I will never touch your game, ever. Because I've watched you work on the game and be predominantly in charge of the game for a long time now, and most of your updates have made the game worse and less playable. You don't listen to critical feedback whatsoever. And when you quote unquote do listen to critical feedback, you always have to stick your little deformed hand, like the scary movie guy in the fucking mashed potatoes, and put your little retarded takes on game balance in there too, which all of your takes on game balance, Rel, are retarded because you're not an FPS player. And holy shit, we're developing an FPS game. So you're a mega casual, nice guy YouTuber who got put in the position of his life, and this is probably your last stop, okay? If that guy works on the next game or is significantly involved, it'll be fucking dead on arrival, okay? Because, like, you guys act like I make fun of stuff from a decade ago, but less than 1 year ago, and I really want you to let this sink in, less than 1 year ago, in the current 365 days that we're at the end of now, this man was out there campaigning and telling everybody how good Osher was and how good it was for the game, and gaslighting every single community member that came out and critiqued it in any way. Okay? That was happening within the last calendar year. And within the last 30 to 60 days, he's had to do a 180 because I guess somehow he finally realized that his game is a failing piece of shit, and a lot of the last year's failure has to do with his continent, his baby. I guess he finally had to come to terms and strangle the baby in the crib and admit his failure as he did so verbally to a friend of mine, and then come out and do this campaign where, holy shit, we have to overhaul everything to do with the continent, and of course that includes construction, which is a massive fucking waste of time. Again, it won't solve anything. And we have to redo a whole bunch of bases on Osher. It's still going to be shit. I sorry. The idea in principle, you guys have heard me rant on Osher. It's still going to be shit. But the key point here is that it always was shit, and even the man himself admits that it was shit, but he was gaslighting you for a year about it being shit. And this is only the most recent debacle from this guy, man. It's been a long history. And as I said, if he has any of his fingerprints on the new game, fuck off. I'm not playing your game because I've watched that movie before, okay? And I'm not interested in buying another ticket. So beyond that, I gotta ask you guys, and I'll ask you guys individually, and I want you to reply to me in the comments here. What the hell makes you think that this franchise deserves another game? And what does that version of the game look like? So I'm going to get off my soapbox here ranting about Rel and Planetside 3, but in conclusion, I'm seeing a lot of Planetside 3 videos. It's fun speculation for people. Some people have a realistic expectation and a view on the stuff. And then I'm out there like, why? 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 So, hit me up in the comments. I'll talk to you later.